欢迎大家又来到这个 Q 堂主谈就业也欢迎我这些学习的朋友。上一次我要讲的还是讲的是跟礼拜五吧，上礼拜五做了一个免费课大家可以从以前的那视频里面能找到，就讲了一下Pro 的基本的 setup 环境的 setup， 并且呢还有呢就是讲了一下这个计算机的一些基础知识。如果你要是能上节课你也能跟下来的话，就是应该是5月份吧，就5月份的第一个星期天，5月份第一个星期五，然后就会再讲一些基本的编程。我相信大家如果要是有兴趣，然后并且能够坚持的话，这编程对大家应该来说根本就不是一个问题。那今天这个 topic 呢，又是到了这个 expert talk 我要谈的呢是和采访一下顾大局，就是我的师兄就同济大学的师兄那他现在呢是在这个 Raser Risk Technology 是 TMX 下面一个 subsidiary， 一个全职的一个子公司里面去做他的president。我也做了一些调查，我上网去看了一些他的这个 bio。2012年呢，顾大局呢就开始成为他的 president， 就是Raser Technology。然后呢，根据这个里面的这些介绍，这些都是public 的一些信息大家愿意的话可以去看一下。那么为什么选他呢？因为呢，我觉得很多同学还是对 capital market 这一块很感兴趣并且呢总觉得这个东西好像比较神秘。那么我们就找一个在里面做的人来跟我们谈一下这个 capital market， 比如说他自己怎么进入到这里面的capital market 都包括哪些以及如果我要是一个刚毕业的学生，我都应该注意哪些，或者是我应该怎么去准备才能进入这个 capital market 这一块那么我们就开始。那我连一下我师兄OK， 好，那个师兄呢，我们就开始了。那么我后面的问题呢，咱们就基本上用英文来回答，因为我觉得你可能开会也都是在用英文。然后这样的话呢OK， 大局 I have several questions. I believe you could help our students and new grads to find out their track to be one of the hottest area like the capital market. So in fact, I already present your profile to my students. They are very impressive about your career development and your recent progress, and they would like you to review your bio first. Like I in fact I give them the this link. I search it on public. I find the article in the Bloomberg and this website as well. In the article, they indicate that you were assigned to be the president of the Raser Risk as a part of the TMX subsidiary. And also they mentioned you have 20 years, I believe it's a vice president from the TMX. He said you have 20 years of experience. Oh, here has 20 years of experience of the international consulting and service the financial industry. And we are very curious the gap. How do you feel from here to here? Like you as a new graduate from the university, and how do you feel the gap and become such a successful professional businessman?
Well, I guess you really a few things. You started with a good education. I think I have a good education. Came to Canada really for the graduate study. So you start with a good education. I'm not going to be filling all the more than 20 years experience here, but you start with a good education. Then you do need to fill out what you really want to do in your career. Obviously, people say, life is a whole learning experience. Learning never ends when you graduate. As a matter of fact, it start learning how to apply the knowledge you already have and constantly advance your knowledge. Yeah, so the continue learning, and obviously there are a variety of skills you need to master throughout your jobs. I have done a lot of different jobs. I've done the engineer. I've then done the IT. I have done then the finance, then the risk management, and then the general management. So I have done a variety of different jobs, and each job, from designing engineering system to the insurance company, to the banks, and now to the exchange, and now to the international consulting. So throughout all these times, all these years, you never stop learning, right? So that is the learning part. Obviously, just learning is not enough. You should also have what they call the constantly improving your communication skills. Okay? People says sometimes in the job, EQ is even more important than IQ. You may be very smart. You may be getting a PhD, but it doesn't mean that you are going to be someone who may manage a company. Right? I'm not saying just doing an individual job well is not a good career. It is a good career. But if you want to be someone who could command a very sort of rewarding career, then you need to not only learning, not only have the hard skills, but also you need to have the communication skills as well. I don't know if that's answering your question. So both learning,
Okay.
constant learning,
Okay.
and EQ and IQ.
Okay. What I can say is, in summary, that's kind of improve both the hard skills and the soft skills. And the higher position you apply, the more important the communication skills will work, right?
Exactly. So if some people are usually asking me, what would be the most important skills, if you name one, then I would say, communication skills is perhaps the most single skill that you must master. Whether you do IT or you do business or do finance, whether you are the manager or you're not. And you do need to be communicated effectively.
Okay, I heard your point. But my next question is, if I'm a new graduate, how do I balance the effort I should spend on between the communication skills and these hard skills? Should I spend more time on hard skill improvement, or should I concentrate on the communication part?
I think that's a good question. So as a new graduate, I think you probably need to really focusing on your first job, right?
Yeah.
You need to be doing your job well, because most of the job you are first getting into the firm. You need to show your dedication, show your attitude of learning, and show that you can communicate with your peer well. Now, with respect to someone keep moving this stuff, can you start moving? Okay, really concentrate. So the soft skill is not something you can learn overnight. You need to constantly, what they call honing the skill, right? So things when you're first getting into the job, whatever job might be, find a mentor. Okay, your manager may be your mentor, and you're learning from your peers who may be more experienced, couple of years more experience. You're learning from your peers. You're learning how to communicate with not only the subject matter that you're working on, your teammates, right, but also in the social occasions as well.
Okay.
Something like, yeah, go ahead.
Yeah, I get your point. There's an assumption that you're already in the market, but the student what we have is they are desperate of stepping into this market. Like they just graduate and they heard a lot of information, good and bad, and they are very confused. They want to know what is the first step they should take in order. But they are very interested into this keyword, which is capital market. They have two sides of confusion. One is what does capital market really mean? What kinds of practice area it includes? And another question is so in order to step into the capital market, so what kinds of skills they should have? I just put something here. It may good or it may not good. Just correct me if I'm not right.
Okay, so first of all, capital market has a variety of different areas. Generally speaking, capital market does not include retail banking. For example, if you go to TD Bank and you are in the retail bank, or even you are in general lending, if you want a mortgage, you come to the bank and talk to the mortgage specialist. That's not really capital market. Capital market generally including, the investment banking, right? Okay. You help someone, some company to be listed, become a public company. You do trading, right? You're trading interest rates, you're trading derivatives, and you do risk management. Those are, generally speaking, capital market. Obviously, you're listing their security firms. For example, TD Securities, Dominion Securities. Those are the firms specialized to help a company to become a public, help to raise a fund, help to issue a bond, for example. Those are the part of the capital market. Now, your question you already circulated is, what kind of skills do you need? Capital market in general, in my opinion, you need 3 areas of skills. Computer science, math, statistics, and finance. Why do you need that 3 areas of skills? Because let's say capital market, they routinely deal with the financial asset, right? Sometimes people hear about investment portfolio. Right? Investment portfolio could just a second. Just 1 second.
Okay.
And so you have a portfolio of investment that may including some investing in mortgage, some investing in stocks, some investing in corporate bonds, some investing in some sort of a short-term interest rate swap or options. It could including variety of different what we call the financial asset class. In order to evaluate how that portfolio will change in value today versus tomorrow, 3 months from now versus a year, you need to evaluate the risks. Right? So the risks meaning how much you can afford to lose over the next 3 months, 6 months, a year. Right? Now, what are the things impacting the value of your portfolio? From macroeconomy policy to geopolitics. For example, the ISIS in Middle East will be impacting the oil supply. Oil supply will impacting the price of oil, and then some of the investment portfolio, including the commodities, will be impacted. Sometimes Bank of Canada may raise the interest rates or may lower the interest rates. That also could increase or decrease the value of your portfolio. So you need to have a model to model the portfolio and how they will change through the market fluctuation. So that requires computer model, that requires you to have a math skill, that also requires you to understand the cash flows. Cash flow changes, either short term, long term, right?
Yeah.
It also requires to compare the model value versus the actual.
Okay.
So a lot of analytical skills.
Okay, so in general, we need to have the capability in these three different practice, the computer science, mathematics, and finance. So these are the three most important skills we need to have, right?
Right.
And okay, thank you for this information. I have a question here. A lot of students believe CFA is a necessary certificate for stepping into the financial market. I mean the capital market, find a position in these firms you just mentioned. So from your perspective, how do you evaluate the value of the CFA certificate?
Well, first of all, you're right. CFA is one of the most valuable certificates. Now, is that really for junior position? It's a yes or no, right? And to acquire a CFA designation, I think you at least need a couple years experience, and it requires a few level of exam, right? So it's not someone who just graduate and next year you'll get a CFA designation. For senior position, certainly when you want a promotion to manager or director, someone who has the CFA designation would really stand out. As a matter of fact, in the investment banking, CFA, it is pretty much a must if you want to be able to do something.
Okay. The question is, let's make it more straightforward, Daju. So if I just graduate from the school, do you suggest me to take the CFA, the CFA training immediately, or I can wait till I land a job and work for a couple of years, then start to pursue the designation of CFA?
Definitely not. If you just graduate, you have not find the first job yet, I don't think you should really study for CFA.
Okay, that's very appreciated, since that question gonna confuse a lot of students, and since the information we have are very conflict. Like they told us CFA is the necessary part for the junior position. And how about CSC? Do we need the CSC?
CFE.
No, CSC, Canadian Security. I forget the last.
That's one security course, a security certificate. I think I give you two perspectives. One is CSA course usually is a very fundamental training and knowledge and the concept. It's much easier than CFA. Perhaps you probably should get it. And even that is not a prerequisite for before you get in the first job. Usually, a lot of my staff are doing that once they have the first job.
Okay, that's very helpful. I know I'm circulating the questions, Daju. I put the computer science here, statistics here, finance here. The reason why I'm put here is, can we make it more specific? Like if computer science, what kinds of specific skills we are looking for? Like, are we looking for the programming skills?
Not really, unless you are computer major, graduated, then usually the first job people do expect you to have programming skills, right? Mm-hmm. Even that, you may not necessarily be very good in doing all type of computing programming language. You may be very hardcore C++, or you may be doing some sort of GUI design or GUI programming language, right? And there's a variety of different modern language that you may be able to focus. But programming skills in capital market is more towards like VBA. You definitely, by the way, I want to mention the vital skill is VBA, Excel, sometimes .NET. So these are for the first job that you may be able to use.
Okay. So can I say it in another way, like if you know the C++ or other more sophisticated programming tools, that's helpful. But the necessary part is at least you need to know the Excel VBA.
Yeah, I think Excel VBA definitely you need to master that. It will be much more appreciated in the junior position.
Okay, thank you. How about the tools in the statistics package? Do we need SAS? I know SAS is quite popular now for the junior position.
SAS or PC version of SPSS, it's something also popular. Which I think because you're very familiar with those in terms of their application in the data mining side, right? And not only that, if you are a statistic major, it will help you to understand the derivatives. A lot of risk management modeling a investment portfolio throughout the time series. Are getting into the stochastic processing, right?
Okay.
And so there's a lot of Monte Carlo simulation, potential exposure, risk exposures. All these used a lot of statistic techniques.
Okay.
So yeah, statistics are very, very important.
Okay, that's great. Supposedly, if I'm a new grad with my major, let's say economics, or with my major like the finance, so how much possibility can a student with this major become to a professional in capital market? Like, how much possibility can this student secure a junior position in, let's say, within 3 or 5 months after graduation, if they work hard on it?
If you just get a bachelor in finance, for example. 1 second.
Yeah, sure. Take your time.
If you just get a bachelor with no experience at all, you at least need to show some of the analytic skills, such as the analyzing use Excel, right? In finance, everyone uses Excel. You definitely should have some, testing experience, something that people can see you do day in, day out once you're hired, right?
Okay.
Because in real world, and there are day in, day out at the junior position, you would be possibly assigned to do a lot of assistance, right? Mm-hmm. Take a look at this and check this and testing that. So if you're very proficient in Excel, you would be able to set yourself apart.
Okay. That's great. Daju, I have a question probably from a lot of students' perspective, they care about what kind of junior position they could apply. And I just listed some of them. And from your perspective, are these positions feasible to apply for these, new graduates?
I think those are the most suitable entry-level positions that I see people apply. Remind you, even these positions are quite competitive. There's so many applicants, so few jobs. But the good news is more and more financial institutions, banks, for example, are actually get rid of the old generation and getting new blood in. Why? Because the knowledge structure and also the cost. The younger people, if you are really dedicated and willing to learn, then they are more likely to give you a try because your entry level, the salary are much lower than the older generation.
Oh, so that's good news for the young generation and bad news for people in my age.
Yeah, and if you pay attention to today's radio, Skillshare let a lot of people go. Why? They're start closing the branches, right? Why they're doing that? Because more and more people are doing mobile banking.
Oh,
so there's no need for people to go to the branch.
Okay. So if we focus and we work hard on our technical skills and the domain knowledge, I will say our new grads have a better chance than, say, 3 years or 5 years before. Can I say it in this way?
I think so. I think the young generation definitely have a better opportunity compared to what a number of years ago. You really need to be flexible. If you are a computer major, people say, hey, there's a QA analyst position. Do you want to apply? Absolutely.
Okay.
Because what you learn from your university, all these skills are transferable. You just start from somewhere. Nobody says you're going to stick as a QA analyst.
Okay.
Forever, right?
So can we say it in this way, the university education is, let's say, that's just like a ticket to, say, a pass for you to take the train. And once you graduate, you just get off the train and you start for the, it's like a qualification, right? So after you graduate, you can apply, in fact, whatever you want to apply as long as you are qualified for the position.
I would say the university education these days is the bare minimum.
Oh, the bare minimum.
And
okay.
If you have university education, if you have a bachelor, it's if you don't have any other things that's standing out, you hardly get a job.
Oh.
You need to show the potential employer something unique. Out of the 70 resumes on my desk, and this guy's standing out. Why am I picking up this instead of that?
Okay. Can I say in the capital market, people have a higher average education?
Absolutely. For example, in my company, probably half of the people having PhD.
Oh my God! Half of the people have PhDs.
So most of the people are math PhD or physics PhD or major bachelor in economics and then plus MBA, or computer science bachelor, then going through CFA, FRN. But their entry salary is at least 100,000.
Oh, I see. So
once you get in, it grows very fast.
Okay. I think this question I can skip it out since I asked how much IT knowledge do I need. So you already answered it here, so I just cross this one out. And my last question is a lot of our students, they want to start from a CSR in the bank, and they believe if you work as a CSR in a bank for a couple of years, you may have the opportunity to be transferred to the mid office or the back office as a financial analyst. So from your perspective, how much possibility it has?
CSR job, as I said, the banks are closing branches, right? It's really the dead end. Now, that said, you should really not turn down the job offer,
Okay.
right? Because CSR experience can be packaged as a communication skills, as a valuable experience to show your manager that you do understand the customer needs. There's a lot of noise in the background. So you can show that you do know the end user needs by serving the customers at the counter, right, behind the counter.
Yeah.
You do have had a couple of years experience of communicating to a variety of different people. It's called client service experience.
Uh-huh.
Remember in the beginning I said, if one skills are absolutely important, and that is the communication. And this is the perspective we're talking about.
That's right. But the thing is, if you are a manager from the financial analyst, from the risk management department, are you gonna hire people, who work as a CSR in the retail banking for a couple of years, then suddenly apply for a position in your department?
I don't think that's the first area that someone's going to be looking for. Even you're in the business banking, people hardly get into the capital markets. But that is not to say the experience is not valuable. You know what I mean?
Okay.
Depending on how you package it. But in general, the banking are not getting into the capital market.
Okay. So how about a manager in the bank, say from the mid office or from the back office? Are they gonna hire people who work in the CIBC branch for 3 years and he suddenly apply a position in the mid office or back office?
Usually that's not the route. Usually in the retail bank, you'll become a manager of the branch and go through that way. But that's a typical path. But if you are really outstanding in serving customers, they could ask you to analyzing the customer segmentation.
Yeah.
What's that? They could ask you to do the analysis, right? To do the data mining, because you understand the retail behavior. You understand the data. You have a good data sense. And then if you show that you know SaaS well, if you show that you do know the industry, how the end consumer approaching banks,
Okay.
you can show the banking appetite, right? So all I'm trying to say is just to look at one experience without any other unique part of the skills that you can show, it's very difficult to switch the field.
Oh, okay, I see. I see some CSR, they have a couple of roles to become part of the mid office or back office. They could be in the marketing analysis department, just like you mentioned, analyze the customer's behavior. And also they could be work as the UAT, like the UAT for the bank to test the customer face the software.
Exactly.
Okay.
This I just want to mention, if you do want to apply those, depend on how you interview, depend on how you package your resume. It's very, very important at the entry level. Okay. And so I think, DK, you prepare your students for the resume writing and prepare them to do some mock-up interview are very, very important. Because usually people give you 5 minutes. After 5 minutes, they're not interested. They're just a thank for your effort to come in.
Okay. I guess that's all I have. That's a question all I have. And hey, Tristan, do you have any questions for Daji if you have any?
No, that was very informative. I think if I had anything, I would have written on the chat.
Okay.
Oh, he did forget to mention one part. I think Deji said there was a suitable entry position that he sees a lot, and then he mentioned a bit more information about kind of the entry level position, but he didn't mention any specific entry position that we should apply for. Are those the ones that you listed, the 4 financial analyst, QA analyst, data analyst, system analyst, or is there kind of like a much more suitable one in the current market that everyone should apply for because it's far more suitable to entry skills?
Your voice broken, but what I hear is you look for the list of the entry level positions. I think I just listed here.
Yes.
Okay. Anyway, okay, Daji, well, thank you for your time. I know you are very busy, but I have my last question. Do you have any suggestion for our new graduate students?
I would say you need to pick up a field that you are interested. The 4 positions that you listed are most likely suitable for you to apply. Now, when I say you need to really find a field that you are really interested, you may not have that luxury for your first job. You may not get the first job, so you just need to keep your interest in your mind and keep enhance the knowledge and the skills while you're doing the job may not be your ideal job for the first one. So that we're looking for the opportunity to switch to the one. It may not be your second job, but gradually you move, for example, from retail to business banking to wealth management. Then finally you get into the capital market.
Okay.
And by the way, capital market compensation is much better than the retail or the business banking. But the demand on the skills, as I said, the education level is much more. At the same time, people are having multiple degrees and most likely in the different areas, which is showing that you have ability to put all areas of knowledge and skills together to deal with the complex situation in the capital market.
I understand. Actually, following that, I thought of another question as well. What do sort of supervisors or managers expect? What are your expectations when someone does get hired? So, for example, a newcomer comes in and he's trying to learn how the business operates and everything and all his job responsibilities.
I think the most... Sorry, go ahead.
When you expect a person to start delivering value for the company? When you want to see...
usually, you get hired as a new graduate. I don't expect you to deliver anything anytime soon. What I look at the most important part, even look at some of the students, right? I look at one, are you really reliable? Are you dedicated to learn? Do you have a good attitude? And can you communicate it clearly? Let's be honest, a lot of the PhD graduates, right, wants to apply a summer job. I have 15 people apply for one position. So why am I hesitating? Because you need to assign the senior one to look after them. Look after meaning, discuss with them, which consumes the time. What value you really give us in return, right? However, why we still hire the entry-level people? Because if you have the potential, then it's worthwhile to invest time.
Okay, thank you very much. Yeah, I believe it's more, sort of the expectations of employers when going in.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think my machine is run off the battery, and I believe we just take a lot of time from you, Daji, and we appreciate your time and effort. And I have to say I really deeply appreciate your help.
All right, welcome. Hope give you a little bit and students a little bit of information. But if you have any follow-up questions, do shoot. Okay.
Yeah. Can we last question? Can we expect you for another session? Let's say let's say end of the year.
Sure.
Okay. Thank you. Thank you very much, and you have good
Okay,
day.
you're welcome. Good luck.
Yeah. Bye.
Okay, good luck.
Yeah. 刚才那个大局还有那个我们两个那个同学，然后参加了我们这个 online 的这个 seminar， 实在是就是怎么说呢？我觉得大局讲的都是很实在的，并且那个他所需要的东西也都是很清楚的告诉我们。就是总结一下呢，就是他这几个我觉得是很重要的。一个是就是这条路，如果你要真想去这个 capital market， 就是 retail business wealth management， 然后到capital market， 然后还有一个呢就是你想去 capital market 这个几点吧，一个是 education 是很重要的。然后呢，他所需要的 skills 呢 minimum 这个 VBA Excel， 我想他没有 mention， 但 database 也是需要的。然后这个地方呢是你可以申请哪些 position financial analyst, Q analyst, I believe report analyst is also part of it. 如果有可能的话 SPSS 以及一些statistic modeling. I believe that's basically he covered. 基本上就是今天我们就是要go through的这些信息。如果你还要是有问题的话呢，你可以微信我 jobready123，或者是发邮件给我 jobready123@gmail.com。好，谢谢大家参加这个我这一次的这个webinar。然后下一次课呢，不是说习惯了，不是下一次课。下一个这个第六个 session， 我觉得我有两个选择，我还没有定下来啊。一个是我有可能会请一个就是工作的就是最近工作就是比较 junior position 的这么一个以前的我们的这个朋友来跟我们谈一下他的 responsibility。或者呢，我会讲一下 report analyst 的这个职位分析基本上是这样。好，那谢谢大家参与谢谢。